What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over the NPCs that you need to know about in Fortnite Chapter 7 Season 3 and letting you know which ones are going to help you win. As always, if you guys do enjoy this video, find it helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, comment down below which of these NPCs you're going to be using, and if you guys would like to use my code in the shop when getting anything, it is EvolvedJake, just like my channel name is, and it is underneath the webcam at all times. So the most important, as per usual, are going to be the specialist NPCs that you can hire. Not only will these run around and fight people and, maybe cause a distraction, more often than not, they're really not that helpful in a fight. But the main benefit of having them is going to be their abilities. And there are 4 specialist NPCs, and you can hire each of them for 350 gold. So they are incredibly cheap. So the first, and what I think is the best, is going to be PJ at Latte Landing. She's the scanner NPC this season, and as per usual, she will mark the area, she'll scan the area and mark enemy players, loot, and even sprites in the area, which is really helpful if you do want to hunt and find different sprites. Having her scan and mark them, that way you know, like, oh, there's some running around, can actually be pretty helpful, because the galaxy sprites I've found thus far have actually just been walking around. I haven't found any from chests, but I have found 2 just walking around in the wild. So having her scan the sprites is going to be helpful for people that are going for that. But also marking loot and chests and all that stuff is going to help you, if you are in a pinch and need loot. But most important is obviously going to be her marking enemy players in the area. And this is something that has always been incredibly good. Getting a scan of the area and knowing where your enemies are can benefit you a lot at pretty much any stage of the game. Obviously, early game, if you're landing here, she'll mark other players at the POI, and that can really help you. End game, when the circle is really small, that can really help you. But also in the mid game, just knowing where people are around you can help a lot. This season, there is the extraction mechanic, so a lot of fights are going to be happening around the extraction zones. And if you are, trying to extract or pushing an extraction zone, getting a scan and marking players nearby will help a lot, because there's usually a lot of people. And one thing about this season is that visual audio was nerfed. To me, it also feels like the regular audio was just nerfed as well. It feels like everything is very quiet, especially enemy mobility usage. And this creates a lot of situations where you can just completely get caught off guard by somebody who otherwise you wouldn't have been caught off guard by. In this season, we have the hunting rifle in the game, which hits really hard, potentially one hits you. We have the ranger pistol in the game, which absolutely melts. And then a few of the ARs melt, kill really fast as well. And so this season in particular, having a scan of the area, I feel like is actually more beneficial than usual, because it feels like you're more likely to get caught off guard than usual with these audio changes, and with the fights playing out around extraction zones and creating situations where there's often more and more players flocking to that area. Getting a scan really helps. So typically, the scanner NPC is the one I think is the best, and this season is going to be no different with PJ at Latte Landing. Dylan at Heatwave Harbor is going to be the supply specialist, and she will periodically give you ammo and supplies. In the past, this type of NPC was incredibly good for getting shockwaves and staying topped off on shockwaves throughout the course of the game. But ever since overdrive nades came in and replaced shockwaves, I don't think those have worked with the supply NPCs. And trying to check it and play this season, I have not been able to get overdrive grenades from her at all. I did get the new bunkers at one point. When I was holding those out, she did give me bunkers, which, can be helpful if you're really trying to play off bunks. But you can only carry 2 bunkers at a time. And so her dropping 3 of them, sure, that's really helpful. But it's not like you can really add that to your stack most of the time. I guess you could hold them out in a situation where you wanted to use the bunker, like maybe you were going to set up in an endgame or something like that. Wait until she drops hers and then throw yours, and then just get the remainder back from her. Or in team game modes, you can obviously share those extra bunkers around. But for the most part, this type of NPC not giving mobility, I feel like really diminishes the point of having it, because bunkers you typically don't use as often as mobility. But if you are someone who just wants to use bunkers in every single fight and not really think about the consequences, this NPC can really help. As far as getting ammo goes, that's another thing that probably is most beneficial in squads, because that's where it can be a bit of a struggle to get ammo at times. But playing solos or duos, it really is rarely that difficult to get ammo. Maybe off spawn it might be a bit of a struggle, or you're not in the greatest spot. But usually once you have a kill or 2 in the mid game, you're stacked on ammo to the point where you could just, spray and pray like it doesn't really matter anymore. It's like not that much of a limiting factor. So these NPCs supplying ammo, I feel like aren't that big of a deal. The biggest kind of benefit of them in the past, I think, was supplying mobility and supplying bunkers, and this one still will supply bunkers. Bunkers maybe not that useful anymore, but the lack of mobility, I feel like, definitely makes the Dylan NPC way less useful than she would be if she did give overdrive grenades. The next NPC is going to be John Wick. He is on the outskirts of the lighthouse near Calamari, and he is the heavy NPC this season. So periodically he will throw grenades, which can, you know, blow up and damage enemy players. If somebody's in a bush, that would be a really good time for him to throw a grenade because they potentially deal damage, destroy the bush, or just force the enemies out of the bush as well. And then I believe the heavy NPC also has more health, you know, making him a heavy NPC. Overall, though, I'm not the biggest fan of him. I feel like most of the time they throw the grenades, they don't really accomplish much with it. Like, their aim isn't the greatest, and the enemy players often have a lot of time to react. There definitely will be situational moments where, like I said, maybe it forces somebody out of a bush, or in an endgame where there isn't much cover, forcing an enemy out from behind cover can be good. But most of the time throughout, like, the mid game and early game, I don't think this NPC is that good. And a lot of times they won't end up making it to the end game anyways because another enemy player might eliminate them. So this NPC, I feel like the biggest kind of attribute it has is just being somewhat of a nuisance or being somewhat of a distraction. But I think the ability of this one is not nearly as good as the supply specialist or the scanner NPC. And the final NPC is going to be Elite Daigo. He is the healer specialist, and he is going to be at Sunken. I did not like this NPC at all. I typically haven't had as high of an opinion as the healer as the other NPC types, but they were nerfed at some point, I believe in Chapter 6. They used to splash you twice every, you know, period of time whenever their cooldown is. But in Chapter 6, they were nerfed to only splashing you one time and giving you 20 chug splash. Sure, there's times where you might be in an absolute pinch and maybe that saves your life. But most of the time, they're going to splash you at times where it's really not needed. The amount of healing you get from it really isn't that much, isn't that useful. And then a lot of times they just completely miss anyways. So this NPC, I'm surprised they nerfed the healer NPC when they did. I think it was mainly to combat like some sort of heal off or people just playing in the storm. And if you do want to just run around in the storm and farm sprites, then, you know, keeping this NPC close to you could be a way for you to heal and storm decently well. But also, it's not like the storm is that deadly if you are just trying to farm sprites. And with every every vending machine selling medkits, it's not that difficult to stay topped off on medkits if you are just trying to live in this in the storm and farm sprite dust. So the healer NPC, I haven't felt has been that great for the past few seasons. Mercy last season with the staff, I think, was a step up from the Chug Splash ones. But these Chug Splash ones never really thought were that great, and definitely, you know, towards the end of Chapter 6 onward, when they were only splashing once, I think was a pretty significant nerf to this NPC type. So overall, I feel like NPCs haven't been that good. The main two that were typically solid were the scanner, which is still really good, and then the supply one, which is solid, but the fact that it can't give mobility, I feel like, you know, hurts the main point of having it in the first place. So the only NPC I would really think about or want to hire that much is going to be PJ. That scan is completely invaluable and can save your life in a lot of fights. And not only can it be helpful in terms of finding enemies, but also in terms of knowing that you're safe. If you get a scan and there's nobody marked, you know, in your immediate vicinity, then you know you are relatively safe where you are, and you can, you know, play around that accordingly. It takes a lot of the guesswork out. So even a negative scan with something like the PJ NPC is a valuable piece of information. On top of marking loot, marking sprites, being in a season where things are kind of timing based and fluky with like the lack of audio, I think the scanner NPC is definitely the best this season. There are other NPCs on the island, but they aren't hireable. The effect they give you or what they sell alternates between patch up, rift service, or maxing out your ammo. And again, this is something that could be helpful in a pinch. If you completely need to like rotate or get out of the area, that Rift NPC can help you. If you're really low on ammo or maybe just came off a reboot, great. If you need the health, the patch up is good, but there's often, you know, vending machines all around the map that offer that same thing. So the other NPCs aren't the greatest. A lot of the hired ones aren't the greatest. I think PJ is going to be your best bet. And if you do want to get wins, she can help you out a lot. But that is going to be it for this video. As always, if you guys did find this to be helpful, informative, or interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.